Here we are going doing in part 3 of Hollywood Child Protection Act ignored, and here's why it's important. The ending of 2, I'm not sure if I messed up a little bit, but I will give you the description. In the description I'll put the link to the actual article so that you can read it for yourself. I'm just doing this to try to bring more awareness of this issue. So here we begin. They need to get legal. But that is a misreading of the law, according to Donna Mitchell, Chief Consultant of the Assembly Committee of Arts, Entertainment, Sports, Tourism, and Internet Media. She's the legislative aide to help draft the AB 1660 and ushered it into the state's legislation, which means that if you're even alone with a child, or say that you're not because a parent's there, if your job description is required to, you have to register under the law as it states. Asked if publicists who say they never were alone with children are exempt from the law, she said no, but added, "I cannot give legal opinion on this matter, merely of my own opinion, regardless of the intent of the author, as relayed through our committee analysis." She then explained that exempting publicists and managers who say they are never alone with their child clients was the exact circumstances they wanted to prevent. So basically, this was like a loophole that they were using, saying, well, I'm not alone with the kids, but in reality, they were really hurting the children. The cinematographer, I can't say that good, guide, IASTE, located at 600, has absorbed the publicist guide back in 2002. It says it's up to the local 400 or so publicists to follow the law, even if they don't know it exists. It's a member's responsibility to require licensing, said the spokesman for the guide. We have no visibility on handing underage performers or anything like that. Okay, so it's your responsibility like any other job. If there's new licenses or requirements, then you should make sure that you have them or you can't work. Right? Yeah. Asked if publishers should be exempt even if they're actually never alone with their clients, Mitchell said no. Well, again, I'm going to just repeat this. I guess I added an extra screenshot. No, unless the children on the set of the location, aka place of employment, which the parent / or studio teacher must be represented. So basically, you have to have this permit. The law obviously applies to publicists. No question. That's a fact, said Henry, the co-founder of Biz Parents, an advocacy group for parents of child actors. When we testified before the legislation, we discussed publicists, in particular because of Bob Villard, and and a few other men were promoting themselves as publicists, and they were convicted sex offenders who we did not want to reharm other kids. Publicists often have a very close relationship with their clients because they travel with them doing public appearances. She said they need to apply. There's no excuse for them not having a permit. The law has been in effect for 5 years, and there's no excuse for an industry professional who works with children to be unaware of it, she said. She's horrified that so many are that. They need to get legal. I agree with her. They do. It's your responsibility. Get your permit. Even though so many work with children actors have failed to obtain the permit, the state labor commissioner has never received a single complaint. And while 1,000 taxpayers spent starting up the database and processing applications for a fee of $200 for the 2-year permit, very little has been done to enforce. Before the bill was passed into law, the Senate Budget Committee estimated that it would be more likely minors' cost annually to the Department of International Relations and Enforcement. Sorry about that. We have not received any complaints or allegations that the law is not being followed, Laverne said. For all the great legislations in effect of to protect children actors, the problem is the enforcement is often lax, said Amanda Beer. I can't say her, sorry about pronouncing it, mother of a 14-year-old actor. And that's true. The enforcement needs to be put in place so people know that this law is here for a reason and not like, oh, I don't have to do it, they're not going to do anything. So it's really disgusting. The law also stimulates the permanence of fingerprints and FBI background checks, which are required for anyone providing still photographs, digital photographs, video and films, to a minor for the use of an artist or performer. But the dozen of well-known photographers whose websites say they take headshots of child actors' deadlines have found that only 7 were registered. And they named some names of, I guess, the people that registered, and kudos to you guys because you're doing the job correctly. And I got a medical billing degree, and if I don't keep up with the codes and I mess up on your codes, I can't say, oh, I was unaware. I didn't get my recertification. Durham said that she was alerted to the new law by a casting director. Once she let me know about it, I made sure to register for the permit. I know I am one of the few that have, and I wish I could say that makes a difference in the amount of booking I get, but it doesn't. The agencies continue to refer photographers who don't have the permits and parents to continue with these photographers, not sure if they don't know if it's required or if they just don't care. As far as the photographers who don't have the permits, many are advised of it and just don't want the expense or hassle. It's sad because of the welfare of the children, and the peace of mind of parents should be a priority. And you know what? I agree. Not to mention, like I said, the law really, I think, is failing here too, along with these people, by not enforcing this. Permits are required, so those who provide instruction, evaluation lessons, coaches, seminars, workshops, or similar training as an artist, included but not limited to acting, singing, dance, voice, or other similar instruction services for minors who is seeking to secure employment as an artist or performer. But here too, dozens of coaches, acting teachers who cater with young performers are not obligated to permits, which, I was a coach, and I had a background check. Anyway, acting coaches, Anthony, I can't say the name, Rand's agency, where there's 15 of his teachers have permits, all of them. All of the teachers who have to have one, he said, and that's amazing, good. We have 15 teachers, and that's a lot of license and a lot of permits, and our casting director told us about it, and we wanted to make sure we were compliant. We thought it was important for everyone to be registered, and I applaud that. I do, because you're working with kids. Concerned parents can run the names of people their children work with through the U.S. Department of Justice, the National Sex Offenders Registry. But that database is no use if the sex offender is working under an assumed name, like we've seen in Part 1. To make sure that doesn't happen, the state requires fingerprints and FBI background checks on everyone who applies for a permit. I agree with that, but then that Judge Murphy said that one guy wasn't in compliance, but he had a fake name. So we need to get the law in check here, too, to make sure they enforce it. And then if you violate but hopefully this is what this law is supposed to do, prevent people from trying to hide their identity. Yeah. A manager of a career of 15 child actors told Deadline that she got her permit when the law first went into effect 5 years ago. It's very important to me, she said, and I was very happy when they did. It was one of the first ones. I was one of the first ones to sign up. This is a big deal to me, and it's a big deal to me, and it's a big deal to a lot of parents. We don't want to see any children being hurt in Hollywood. I don't want to go watch movies of people that are hurting kids. Anyway, a check of the state database, however, showed that her permit had expired last June. I'm glad you told me, she said. I would have renewed it, and the second it expired. I'm going to renew it right away. She has to pay $200 renewal fee, but she won't have to get her fingerprints taken again. And it seems like she really cares. Asked, though, she thought that so many managers of child haven't gotten the permits, she offered two reasons. One, people are lazy, and two, nobody assumed anybody would follow through, and nobody has. They figured that there would be no consequences, and what does it matter? It does matter. Bob Villard, Marty West, can we go on? We can name people. And it's continuing to happen, and if law enforcement isn't going to comply with the laws by enforcing it, or the labor board, then I don't see the purpose of why we have this law, other than the fact that it's important and we need this law and they need to enforce it. It's absolutely ridiculous. I want to know how you feel about it. Would you let your kid go into Hollywood now? I sure as heck wouldn't.